Back when you were in middle school, you probably learned how to divide numbers by hand. And it's a skill that people learn back then, and then they forget it over time because they just don't use it. There's plenty of ways of getting this answer. The most easy one is obviously typing this in your calculator. But the skill of long division is going to be really helpful in dealing with dividing polynomials. So try and do this example here, if you remember how. But I'm going to walk you through here. So pause the video and see what you remember, if you can actually divide these polynomials by hand. I know there are a lot of methods out there, but the way I'm going to do this is actually the traditional method, which is the way I learned it back when I was in school, because it's going to apply when we're doing this with polynomials in a little bit. But the basic idea is you take the number on the bottom and you put it outside the little division sign, and we want to see how many times 9 goes into 3. Well, obviously 9 doesn't go into 3, so we look at the first two numbers. We want to see how many times 9 goes into 30. And 9 goes into 30 a total of 3 times. So you put a 3 up here after the last digit you use. You do 3 times 9, and you put that number down here. So we get 27 written there. Let me erase those lines and rewrite that. So we get a 27 here. You subtract, and you get your leftovers. You get a 3 right here. You compare, make sure that 3 is less than 9, which it is. You bring down your next number. You repeat the process again. So now you're going to ask yourself, how many times does 9 go into 38? It goes in 4 times. 4 times 9 is 36. Subtract, you get 2. Make sure it's less than 9, which it is. Bring down the next number, which is 2. And 9 goes into 22 twice. Now, after this point, you get to 4 right here. And you would probably either write this, like you can keep going. If you put another number right here, a 0, you bring down a 0. You can get a decimal after this, and you would keep going. For example, 9 goes into 44 times, so you'd have a 0.4, and you keep going to get more of a decimal. And you also might have learned in middle school that when you're doing this problem like this, instead of kind of doing the decimal, probably even before you learned the decimal, you have a remainder right here, the number that's left over. So sometimes you would have seen it written R4 like this, meaning remainder 4. Now you usually won't write a remainder like that, R4, like after you get past middle school. You kind of drop that off. And we don't necessarily do this with polynomials when we're going to talk about how to do those division problems. But what we can do, instead of writing R4, there were 4 left over, and we were dividing by 9. So you can think about that like 4 9ths left over. So we can add that on right here, and basically the idea is, if you think about a mixed number, this is the same thing as 342 and 4 9ths. So that's the basic idea, and that's going to come into play later on when we are doing this with polynomials. So this is long division.